Hello, 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 everybody. All my awesome, lovely friends and people that I know and people that I don't know, people who are maybe just meeting me for the first time. Some people have asked me about the books that I write. Some people know I write, some people don't know I write. Why? Who knows? But all these years that you follow along with my crazy, crazy stories, some people are literally surprised to find out that I'm an author. And not just somebody who writes, in the back of their mind, but literally somebody who writes books that get a little bit published. Now, I only have one book, so I thought I'd take literally probably 10 minutes, maybe 15. If you're interested in my life, my books definitely are in my life. So for those of you who are like, who are you and what you're about, I'd have to say even the fiction books that I write, there's definitely an element of the truth of Michelle's life within the books. So I'm going to do my best to summarize what they're about today. I also left a link in the description where my actual website is butterfly25.com, and you can go there, and that is where all kinds of stuff is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go the book that actually, hi everybody, and thank you for joining me. The book that actually is with a publisher. The only book I have that isn't self-published is a book that I wrote 9 years ago, and it's called I Didn't Miscarry Her, She Died. And it's the story of whenever I was 16 weeks pregnant and I had a miscarriage with my daughter, Sarah Faith. Miscarriage is something I believe that we don't talk about enough. Oftentimes women go years and years and years and years and no one is really addressing the issue of miscarriage and loss. And when I finally was able to have someone kind of start addressing it, I didn't like the way that it was being handled, at least not for me, myself, and I found that people were really judgmental about it. They wanted you to somehow get over your grief really quickly, and they didn't really want to hear about the pain and the suffering that you went through as far as losing a child. When you lose a child through miscarriage, it's a little bit different than if you lost a child that was running around. It's a whole grieving process that's really unique because you end up missing somebody technically you kind of never met, which seems kind of strange when you even, try to say that, but that's kind of what that is. So this book, I Didn't Miscarry Her, She Died, because I don't like the word miscarriage. I think it kind of blames the mom. So my expression of it was, I'm tired of people telling me I miscarried anything, my child died. So that's what this book is about. This book also has a foreword by a few people. One is Dr. Casey Lewis. She's an obstetrician. And she said, the foreword of the book, let me see. I have 3 people in the foreword of this book. So you can see I'm not totally crazy as far as this book is concerned. This book has a foreword by Dr. Casey Lewis and Dr. Chuck Edgington, who's a neuropsychologist, as well as Ashley Thomas, who's a speech language pathologist and an autism advocate. I have a few kids with autism, but they all forwarded this book. Dr. Casey said, as a mother whose baby died at 8 weeks, I was inspired by Michelle's ability to put into words what many women feel when going through this kind of grief. This book will help many women struggling with the same ordeal to know that they are not alone. So that is the first book that I guess I got published, and this is through Addison Press. And all of these are available on Amazon, but I'm going through a really quick, what is that book about? All right, I do have a second miscarriage book that is one that I put together with 45 other women on the, sorry, my hair is being weird today, my wig, on the Miscarriage page, and it is called Miscarriage Matters to Mothers. And this book has stories of 47 women who have lost their babies due to miscarriage. I loved putting this book together because what we did was we had moms write in their stories. So as you can see, like on this page, it says Stephanie's story, and then you flip a little bit further down, and we have Vanessa's story. These are all, I think that one says Estelle's story and Vanessa's story. These are 45 women that we got their stories together, and they're all about miscarriage and loss, and some are about stillbirth. And the reason why I think I love this book is because it has more than one voice. We all go through things, and everyone's suffering is really unique. What everybody goes through, let me lift this a little bit. You see my face? Okay. Everyone goes through a lot of things, and we go through it differently, and we process it differently. So because of the miscarriage I had, where I wrote about my own experience in this book, I went ahead and got together other women so you could kind of see a reflection of yourself perhaps in it, and not just, see it from one perspective. So I really like this book because of that. Again, this book's on Amazon, and those are the 2 books that I did as far as miscarriage and grief and loss. I don't remember which one exactly I published next. I think it was this one. I don't remember. This book is called The Destiny of Mary. I absolutely, ever since I was a little child, you would have thought that I was Catholic, although I grew up Baptist, but I loved Mary, the mother of Jesus, since I was a really little girl. And as I got older, I always thought, what would it be like if someone wrote a modern day story of Mary? So I did that. I think I wrote this book in about a week. The story just came flooding into my head one day, and it was really, really strange. It's also like I could hear the voices, but it's like I could see the whole entire scene. And this story is about what if Mary, the mother of Jesus, had gotten pregnant with him in the year 2012. Now, I wrote this, I believe, in 2005. I don't remember when I wrote this book. I don't know where the date is. But anyway, it was a few years after. It looks like I wrote this in 2006. This came out in 2010, I believe. But it's Mary, the mother of Jesus. Mary is in a jean, it's in hoodie on this book. The back forward the description on this book is, The Destiny of Mary is a fictional romance based on the story Mary, the mother of Jesus, set in modern times. Wearing a hoodie and jeans, Mary is standing in her kitchen when she learns of her arranged marriage to 20-year-old carpenter Joseph Abrams. They find themselves dealing with current societal issues when they receive help from a good Samaritan who is struggling with issues of homosexuality. From soul food at the Sheep Ranch Cafe to the intriguing meeting with the three wise men from NASA, fall in love over again with the amazing story retold for a new generation. So, good afternoon, Prophet. How are you doing, Yvonne? Hi, Maureen. So this book is The Destiny of Mary. All of these are available on Amazon. During Christmas time, I think, of course, we see a little bit more action on this book, but this is the third novel that I put out. The next book, I don't know if I'm going in the right order or not. I don't think I necessarily am, because there's quite a few of them. Oh, okay. The next book, if you like science fiction or know someone who does, I absolutely love this story. It's called Child of Energy. Child of Energy, I was walking through the kitchen one day, and I just heard this voice, and I put it in the foreword of this book. I literally heard this voice say to me, I am the force that causes the wind to blow, the glow that causes the sun to shine, the substance of the ground you walk on, and the essence of the water that sustains you. And I know it sounds utterly crazy. I get that this sounds nuts, but I was walking through the kitchen and I had laundry in my hands, and it was like as if somebody said this to me. And all of a sudden, this story just filled my head. And it's this story about this girl named Ginny and this boy named Daniel. And back of this book, I'll read to you. It says, Ginny and Daniel thought they were normal teenagers growing up on a secluded island off of Lake Superior, which is a very real place. Adopted as infants by neighboring families, they lived for years in ignorance of their true origins. But one day, her true father, the Energy, reveals himself. Ginny quickly learns her adoptive parents are angels entrusted to hide her from the presence of the deadly Beltran and his minions, the Mavis. Child of Energy by Michelle Myers, fantastical and romance novel, spins a tale of love in the shadow of evil. Okay, so I won't read the entire thing, but I absolutely love this book. This is one of the bigger books I've written, I guess. It has 400 and something pages, I think. Let's see, we're close. 369 pages, but I absolutely love this. If you love science fiction, that is what this book is about, and I think that you'll enjoy it. I think you will. You might not, but I think you will. But Child of Energy is one of my favorite stories that I have ever written. On a little bit of a more serious note, because I have fiction, nonfiction, some autobiographical things going on here, I have a book called Sleeping Beauty Woke the Hell Up. Now, I realize that some people do not like the titles of my books, or they don't like the chapter titles because I get kind of out there. But this book kind of has a duality in the title. This is a true story. It's a true story about my little life, okay? On the back, this is what I wrote about it. The true story of author Michelle L. Myers after years of childhood abuse, rape, a failed marriage, and the death of an unborn child. Michelle was drawn by a force more powerful than her pain. Sleeping Beauty Woke the Hell Up is a mesmerizing story of the connection between a child and the universe, the demons and her God, and the fear in her heart. What if the prince never comes? We all know the story of Sleeping Beauty, right? It's where she's waiting, she gets poisoned, she's waiting for a long time, and then here comes, I have like President Trump hair going on here. There we go. Is that better? Okay. Sleeping Beauty, you know, she's sleeping, waiting for the prince to come. Well, those of you who do know, I did pageants long time ago in my life. And so I've always had this affinity for the star Sleeping Beauty as well. One of my children's actually named one of the characters from Sleeping Beauty. So it was in my life, I've had lots of things happen where it seemed like I was waiting on a man for them to happen or not happen. So the reason this little book got written is because one day I had to wake up myself. And so this Sleeping Beauty is also about hell seemed to wake up when I woke up, and all sorts of bad things happened. And then God came in and triumphs happened. So it's a true story. And so Sleeping Beauty Woke the Hell Up is about how hell woke up also. And also I finally woke the hell up and realized that I had to learn to have a relationship with God for myself and trust him to get my own self out of a lot of messes. Men are wonderful. Men are fabulous. I hope one day to be married again. However, sometimes, ladies, you got to wake the hell up. That's what that book is about. You can't always wait on somebody else to get you to where you think you need to be. Like I said, my hair is splitting today. All right. So next book I wrote for my mother. It is called Sparrow. Sparrow is a fictional story, and my mother was so perturbed after the books that I'd written. And she was like, you never write an older character in books. Everybody in your books like below the age of 20. So I was like, all right, fine. And she took me off because she wouldn't shut up about it. This book is literally dedicated to my mother. Yeah. It says right here, dedicated to my mother, Grace D. Myers, who nagged me about not writing a fictional book with a heroine older than 16. So that's what this book is about. It's called Sparrow. It's about Madeline Sparrow, and I love her character. A single shot echoed across the lobby, changing Madeline Sparrow's life instantly. Moments ago, she was a young newlywed, pregnant with her first child, on her way to her first OB visit. Now she sits in the back of an ambulance, confused by flashes of Roger falling to his death and the gunman's lips on hers. That's all I'll read because I don't want to give it all away. I love this story. I love writing this story. I love how she falls. I don't want to give too much away about the story, but I absolutely love this book because I like her attitude. I also made her a redhead. God bless Ariel. All right. The next book I'll talk about really quickly is, everyone kind of knew about this book a couple of years ago, Letters to Renoir. What is this book about? Good Lord. All right. So since I was 12 years old, everyone knows I'm real prophetic, right? All right. We got that story down. So since I was 12, I heard about this boy. I had distinct facts and figures. I had dreams with this person. It was so reoccurring. It was like all the time. I almost felt insane. I wrote about it starting when I was 12 years old, and I began to write the story down and the things and the visions and the dreams that I had about this particular boy. Eventually, I even wrote down a name. Well, in 2017, I actually met the person that I had been dreaming about and heard about since I was 12, and even had the exact name. And this is a story about what happened when I met this person. So it talks about the childhood parts, talks about how I see God and the universe, about how I see light creatures. It talks about just surviving cult life. It doesn't get too much into that. It focuses more on the spiritual side and about destiny. And can you really truly have someone out there that could be what people call a soulmate, or someone that you could be destined to be with? So I did have it happen. Now I guess you have to find out whether I ended up with that person or not, or how I didn't, because we all know I'm still single. But this is a really great story, and it really does remind me of how just amazing God can be, and how when you tap into certain frequencies in the universe, I really do believe that things can happen because of that. So it's an amazing story. It's a true story. Nothing in this book is fake. People are real. You can actually check them out. All right, last 3 books. There's quite a bit. This is for everyone who didn't know I was an author, who was asking about the books I wrote in my own words. All right. These 2 books that are coming, I think, might be my favorite, but I'm not really sure. The Curse of Bentley Knox is crazy. I literally wrote this book in a week, and it's nuts. All right, but here's what it's about. By the age of 17, Bentley was used to traveling from place to place on a whim. Her mother, Cindy, never seemed to have a worry as they followed some imaginary line across a map. After breaking down on a 2-lane highway in the middle of nowhere, Bentley comes face to face with a past she did not know existed, or could even possibly exist. It was impossible that she could know the handsome, mysterious Frenchman, as flashbacks invaded her dreams and daydreams. Bentley becomes more and more convinced that she was not who she thought she was. But who was she? How could she have memories from an age before she was born? Danger ensues as Bentley begins to unravel the details of The Curse. I love this book. This book also was written probably in about 2 weeks. But the awesomest thing about this book is I actually would see real dates, real places, real times in history. And so I paired it with a fictional story. So I think it's kind of like a Forrest Gump kind of thing where you see actual hysterical things that have happened and you can see in a history book, but at the same time, then I made up the rest of the story. And so I love it. I think it's amazing. Honestly, I don't think I wrote this book. I think that I happened to hear this book, I don't know, in a frequency, because it came so fast, and in the way the story ties together. If you like science fiction, but you like romance and a little bit of mystery and a little bit of, I don't know, it's all over the place, honestly. But if you love love, this is a really great book. And here's the thing, I wrote a sequel to that book. I don't know which way you'll see it in the camera, but so the sequel, this is The Curse of Bentley Knox. The sequel is called The Survival of Bentley Knox. And this goes on to, I don't want to read it because you have to read the first one first, but this goes on to tell you even more of the story that happens with Bentley and Thomas, the mysterious English Frenchman guy. Oh my God, he's so cute too. I made him really cute. So anyway, this book is the sequel to the first one. And again, if you love science fiction, if you love just romance, I'm all about not putting sex in my books, and here's why. I'm trying to be this advocate and really hold fast to no premarital sex. Now, I seriously did have my first child out of wedlock, and I was made to get married. That's another long story. However, I'm trying to live my life in this place of the principles and beliefs that I do have right now every day that I struggle to try to maintain. So in my books, you'll never find where people just flat out just start going at it. So I've gotten very skilled at doing romantic or sensual, or just where you're breathtaking with passion over even just a gentle stroke of a fingertip. So for those of you who are believers who are like, I want a romance book where it doesn't get all raunchy and people on all over the place, these two books especially are something you could give someone for a gift that are really, really good, and they're not raunchy, and you don't have to skip pages, and it's nothing like that. But you do maybe have to find yourself after the first 15 chapters. Okay, the last book that I have out, now I have other books I've written, but these are the only ones that are on sale, okay, on Amazon. Last book, dearest to my heart, is The Cross of Chronic Pain and the Nail of Invisible Illness. Why? Well, of course. Everyone knows about my children and I catching that wretched virus, everyone getting really sick, 2 of us almost dying, me ended up in a wheelchair with a stroke and all of the sorts of craziness. And this is the story about me. And at the time, everyone was talking about, oh, I pray for healing, you know, when I got so sick of, I'm being honest, I got so sick of going to deliverance service, healing services, year after year. People came in the house. Well, there was this point I started to get depressed because I wasn't seeing the healing that everyone kept telling me was going to come. And I think one disservice we do, although I believe in healing and I've seen very many miracles in my house and outside of it, one thing we don't do sometimes is we don't cater or take care of the person. What if they're not healed yet? How do they keep a mindset in believing that they even still will get healed? As well as how do you get through pain and suffering, not getting depressed and not feeling like you just want to kill yourself? Because regardless of if you believe in Christ or not, you're lying if you say, oh, I get through sickness and chronic pain for years really easy. I bat my eyelashes out. It's no big deal. Well, I'd call you a liar. And the reason I wrote this book is because it's an 8-day devotional. I tell the story about what happened with the kids and I at the beginning, really short. But it's an 8-day devotional because it's about what did I do to get through those moments when I was in ICU by my daughter's bed? And what did I do when I had to keep taking narcotics every 4 hours, year after year? And what did I do when I was in the wheelchair for 3 years? What did I do? What mindset did I have? And I do throw some Bible verses in here because people like to use Bible verses and beat you over the head with them and make you feel like you're stupid, you're nothing, or you don't have enough faith, or, you know, maybe if you tithe more, maybe. So appropriately so in the nature of my nature, I have titles like What the Hell Happened? Did I do something wrong? Anger and Forgiveness. Help Without Strings Attached. Strength for the Hard Moments. Fear and the Bad News. Can God Still Use Me? And When Will I Be Healed? Is all in this book. This is how I got through 2015. I would have not gotten through 2015 if God hadn't literally been like, Michelle, and talked to me, and the Holy Spirit talked to me and was like, Michelle, get your Bible. I know you think those verses in there condemn you, but actually I'm going to show you where these verses will help you when you're not healed yet. Because you guys, everybody doesn't get healed or else nobody would be dying. So what do we do for that person who is actively struggling through something that we can't just throw some Bible verses out and say, I'm praying for you, and then everyone goes back to their own little life and then you're forgotten. And so this is a book for the forgotten. This is a book for the people who are suffering through illnesses like MS or genetic diseases, fibromyalgia, chronic pain, mental illness. This is the book for the person who's a believer who you're tired, you're quite, you're thinking maybe God's never going to heal me. Sometimes it does. Listen, I get people that ask me to pray for people all the time, and sometimes people die. So we can't sit up acting asinine saying, oh, if you just have enough faith. Absolutely, there's healing. Absolutely, having faith matters. But sometimes people are dying. So what do we do with the chronic person? What do we do with the person who's suffering chronic pain or chronic healthcare conditions, or the child that was born that way and is 30 years old and is still suffering? I have a daughter who was born premature and has had health issues since she was born. I've seen many of them healed, but I've also seen her suffer. So how did I get through it? This is how I got through it. I went through here and I first was angry. And so that's why the first title said, what the hell happened? Because that's what I wondered. I was serving God. I was following him. I was doing my best not to sin. I was speaking his words. I was being benevolent, sacrificing. And then my whole entire family gets sick. So it's like, what the heck was that? What am I doing all this for, God, if you treat me like the wicked, so to speak? So that's what this book is about. So that is what all of the books are about. For those of you who are like, Michelle, I didn't even know you wrote books. Yes, and they're all available on Amazon. You can get them there. I hope I didn't go too long, but I know some of you wanted an explanation. So that is the explanation of what the Tower of Books are about that Michelle has authored. No, I didn't have a ghostwriter. Yes, I actually wrote them. Yes, I actually went to college and I was majoring in English, although I did leave early. I did double major. I was pre-med in some science stuff, and I also was an English major. Then I decided I wanted to pursue music and left college. And my mother, thank God, was the person who was like, Michelle, do what makes you happy. So I did. And I really wanted to be a mom and do music and write. So this is why you have Michelle the author today. So I hope that was a good enough explanation. The link to the books is inside of the description. Thank you to my friends Maureen and Yvonne who were here live with me today, and anyone else who joined on. And I will come back on later. This was just going to be about the books today for those of you who wondered. Like I said, you can go to the link in the description if you'd like to purchase one, which would be awesome. So I'll talk to you all later. Mwah. Love, 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 Michelle. And I'll be back on. All right. Share this with your friends. They might want a book. Got to feed my kids. Bye.